God's people say amen. Amen. Before I proceed, I just wanted to take a moment to offer my thanks to someone who had what is easily the most difficult yet often most underappreciated task in any worship service. And that is the task of officiating. I've been blessed this morning to share this pulpit with the great ministers and the great clergy of this church. And I just wanted to take a moment to thank the Reverend Lily Collins for her devotion and her commitment this morning in the church. When someone is good at doing something, they make it look easy. I can assure you, officiating is not easy. Likewise, I'm thankful this morning to Reverend Morgan, to Reverend Washington, to Dr. McDowell, to all of our clergy, to our distinguished deacon. There is a word from the Lord this morning found in the book of Genesis, in the 7th chapter. The book of Genesis, chapter 7. I will read verses 23 and 24 of Genesis chapter 7. I will continue on to chapter 8, reading verses 1 through 5, and then concluding in chapter 8, verses 2 through 22. But we are starting in Genesis chapter 7, verse 23 and verse 24. I'm reading from the New Revised Standard Version, and the word of the Lord reads, He blotted out every living thing that was on the face of the ground. Human beings and animals and creeping things and birds of the air. They were blotted out from the earth. Only Noah was left, and those that were with him in the ark. And the water swelled on the earth for 150 days. Chapter 8, verse 1 reads, But God remembered Noah, and all the wild animals, and all the domestic animals that were with him in the ark. And God made a wind blow over the earth, and the waters subsided. The fountains of the deep and the windows of the heavens were closed. The rain from the heavens was restrained, and the waters gradually receded from the earth. At the end of 150 days, the waters had abated, and in the 7th month, on the 17th day of the month, the ark came to rest on the mountains of Ararat. The waters continued to abate until the 10th month, and the 10th month, on the 1st day of the month, the tops of the mountains appeared. Finally, verse 20 reads, Then Noah built an altar to the Lord, and took of every clean animal and of every clean bird and offered burnt offerings on the altar. And when the Lord smelled the pleasing odor, the Lord said in his heart, I will never again curse the ground because of humankind. For the inclination of the human heart is evil from youth, nor will I ever again destroy every living creature as I have done, as long as the earth endures. Seed time and harvest, cold and heat, summer and winter, day and night shall not cease. You may be seated in the presence of the Lord. And when the Lord smelled the pleasing odor, the Lord said in his heart, I will never again curse the ground because of humankind. I will never again curse the ground because of humankind. Chapter 8, verse 1 tells us, but God remembered Noah. But God remembered Noah. I want to preach on the title this morning, Another One. Another One. Before we preach, let us pray. Merciful God, may the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be found fully acceptable in your sight. And as we open your word, we pray that the depth of your word shall be applied both to our hearts and to our souls. And Lord, I humbly pray that you will hide your servant, Jerry Michael Grimes II, behind the cross, that as I proclaim your gospel, the world may see less and less of me and more of thee. This prayer we offer in the majestic name of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. And may all of God's people say, amen. Of all of the good things that can happen to us in life, few things are as good as a fresh start. I mean, there are few things that are better than having an opportunity to start completely over. Whether we call it a do-over, or a retry, or a second chance. In tennis, they call it a second serve. In golf, I think they call it a mulligan. Any way you put it, few things in life are better than a chance to start over. There was a rather famous radio DJ who worked in the Miami area some decade ago. He's gone on to become a prolific music producer, entertainer. His name is Khalid Muhammad Khalid. He goes by the name DJ Khaled. Now, brother DJ Khaled never takes planes anywhere. He only takes the bus. I imagine, should the day ever arrive that brother Khaled wants to take the plane somewhere, might be easier to board that flight going by the name DJ Khaled, as opposed to getting through TSA with the name Khalid Muhammad Khalid. But DJ Khaled, in the past few years, has become famous as a motivational speaker. He has a number of things that he will say. He will say things to people in the sense of saying, you're smart, you're loyal, I appreciate you. He also will say things to people such as, congratulations, you played yourself. What he means by this is, congratulations, you have made a fool of yourself, and you are the last person to know it. But then there's something else that DJ Khaled says that I find very motivational. It's something that he designed as an MP3, something that when someone's exercising, they become tired, or if they're doing something and they become worn down, he said, then just begin to play this and it will motivate you. And it's just him saying over and over, another one. He said, when you're doing push-ups and you feel like you can't go on anymore, he'll say, another one, and another one, another one, another one. Few things in life are better than having another one. But how do we do this? How do we get a fresh start in life? When we messed up what we have, how do we get another one? How do we get a do-over in life? Well, there's mainly one way to do it. And I leave this word to you this morning. Many times the only way to start over is you have to do away with everything that you have. I know there's a temptation to want to drag some things from the past into the present. But if you keep dragging things from the past into the present, you will have no future. Sometimes there comes a point where you need a new place, with new people, a new life, a new way of talking, a new way of being. There comes a point in time in which everything around you needs to go away. There are times when sometimes everything and everybody around us and everything that we used to do can no longer be done if we're going to go on to what God has for us. There are some times when we must realize the old things have served their purpose. There are some times in which we must realize that the things that we used to do have seen their best days. There are some times in which, in order for newness to move into the neighborhood, the oldness has to break its lease and be gone. And even our Creator felt this way in the book of Genesis. As we reach the book of Genesis and we get to chapter 7, only 7 chapters into the Bible, God essentially said, I'm done with this world. Only 7 chapters in, God had reached the point of saying, I'm flooding everything, I'm getting rid of just about everybody and everything that I've created. You know, I can't help but think as I read Genesis chapter 7, had God been singing, he might have been singing a song made famous by Sam Cooke. Brother Sam had a lot of famous songs, but there was one song called, That's It, Honey, I Quit, I'm Moving On. I can't help but to think that by chapter 7, when we understand all that had happened in the earth, that God had reached that point of saying, that's it, honey, I quit, I'm moving on. It did not take any longer than the first verse of the first chapter of the Bible. When God created the heavens, they had an archangel by the name of Lucifer, who engaged in a rebellion in heaven and took a third of the angels with him, and they were cast out of heaven. That's good news for us this morning. Never be upset about things that go badly in your life. And never be upset when you've done all that you can do to try to make your house into a home and things still don't go the way that you want them to go. Look no further than the first verse of the first chapter of the Bible to know. And if you're making a side note here, a side note would be Isaiah chapter 14 to read the whole story of what Lucifer did up in heaven. But we must know that the Lord God created heaven, and heaven was not good enough for some of the angels. If the Lord God created heaven, and that wasn't good enough for some of the angels, don't expect that you can make anybody happy all the time. The Lord God created heaven. Lucifer engaged in a rebellion. And as he was cast out, he took on the title Satan in the Hebrew, Satan, the adversary, the accuser, the enemy. And then God said, I know what I'll do. This time I'll create the earth, and I'll create some human beings. And they will be obedient, and they will love me, and everything will work out better than it did in heaven. So God decides that he'll create humankind. And we don't know how long it took, but we do know at some point, as children tend to do, the Lord God put Adam and Eve, as we call them, in the Garden of Eden. But now my graduate level students at Calvary Baptist Church of Glenwood University knows that there was no man in the Bible actually named Adam. That's a name that's assigned to him. If you want to know more about that, come by on Wednesday at noon or Wednesday at 7 p.m. But basically what happened in the garden was it did not take long for us to tear up the garden. And so then we were thrown out of bed. And God put an angel with a flaming sword in front of the entrance of the Garden of Eden. So not only did it throw us out, he put on the security code and put a security guard up there and told us to stay out. And then by the time we reached Genesis chapter 6, a third of those angels who were cast down from heaven, who had landed upon the earth called the Nephilim, began procreating with human beings. That is, they began having children by human women. So 7 chapters in, God is now saying, I created heaven, that got torn up. I created the Garden of Eden, they went and tore that up. And then I let them out in the rest of the world, they tore that up. By chapter 7, he said, I'm done with all of that. So the Bible says by Genesis chapter 7, verse 23, he blotted out every living thing that was on the face of the ground. Human beings and animals and creeping things and birds of the air. They were blotted out from the earth. This word blot here is very specific. The text does not say that he just removed things. It says that he blotted them out. Now, you have what's called a Strong's Exhaustive Concordance, which will help you do Bible study so that you can identify what every word in the scripture means. This verb blot here, that he blotted them out, that's Strong's number 4229. So if you happen to get the DVD or the CD, you can go back and check me up on that and see that my math is right. That's Strong's number 4229. The word blot there means to erase from memory. Not just to erase from memory. God did not even want to think about everything that had gone on between Genesis chapter 1 and Genesis chapter 6. But not only that, it means God is strong enough to choose to forget things. Do you know how strong you have to be to forget things? So often we as human beings try to forget things. We even forgive people and say that we will forget things, but as soon as they mess up, the first thing we want to do is remind them of the last mistake that they made. But the text says God blotted out every living thing. That is, he removed from his memory all of the transgressions that had gone on, so he would not hold against anyone in the future things that had gone wrong in the past. And you see, when human beings try to forget things, we have a residue that's left over. Some things start to come up. Oh, that's one hard thing about living life as a believer, because once you've changed your life, there's always going to be somebody trying to remind you of what you did wrong in the past. And that's why I get suspicious sometimes of some of these public expressions of faith. Because the truth is, stains will show up no matter how much you try to rub them out. Unless God does the blotting, some stuff is going to come back up. Unless God does the removing, some things are going to come back. That means we have to call upon God to do what only God can do. Whenever God removes uncleanliness, then the uncleanliness stays gone. We can't do that on our own. And so what God does here is God decides to bring a flood. God wants to wash away everything from the earth. And you see, whenever God does this, this is God's way of forgetting about everything that came before. When we as human beings try to do this, we can't. You see, we can't choose to forget anything. If you try to choose to forget something, you're thinking about the thing that you're trying to forget while you're trying to forget it. And even when we think we forgot something, once we're reminded of it, we realize we didn't forget any of it. A memory can be the best or worst thing that ever happened. Depending on what life has done to us, many days it would be good if we could just forget about certain things that have happened. Because the truth is, it does no good to escape a bad situation if you still remember. The bad situation is not the worst part. The worst part is now having to move on with life and thinking about what life has done to us. As human beings, we try to do what God does here in this text, but we can't do it without God. And then we get to a point that the thing we try to forget is the thing we can't stop thinking about. Many times when we say, I'm just going to leave it alone, it's not enough to leave something alone. Things have a way of following us. You know, there was a proverb that I shared earlier this week, and it seemed to resonate so deeply with members. I share it with you now. It was a proverb written by one of my mentors, the Reverend Dr. Miles Jerome Jones. Yes, sir. He said, do not define yourself by disappointment. Do not organize yourself around failure, but learn to like yourself and learn to forgive yourself. Only then can you love yourself. We live in a world where there are some so-called Christians, or maybe they're Christians in name only. They wear the title, but they don't live the life. In which they go around cherry-picking parts of the Bible that they go around using as a hammer to beat people up. When I think about much of the pain, and I told you because of my exciting private life, I read a lot of statistics in myself. I found myself reading some statistics about divorce. You know, 54% of pastors are divorced. 51% of all marriages end in divorce. Now, I'm a missionary Baptist, so I understand missionary Baptist doctrine. And I don't find in missionary Baptist doctrine where we have the right to condemn anyone because of what may have not worked out in a particular marriage. I can't find anywhere in the New Testament where anybody has the right to look down and talk badly about anybody. I have not died before, obviously, because I'm standing here. But we often hear that the only thing worse than divorce is death. I've never been divorced, but I've also never died, but I will say this much. I've preached a lot of eulogies, and when you're gone, you're gone. But as I imagine it over the course of 17 years of ministry, what I've seen and what I've learned is that what divorce does is people have to now move on and rebuild their lives, which means one is still here having to carry the pain and the agony, and many times the betrayal and the suffering that comes with that. Oh, I know we're not supposed to talk about things like divorce in church. How dare you, Pastor, talk about things that people really go through in real life? But the truth is, as I read the New Testament, we must understand one thing. Divorce is allowable in the New Testament. See, many people like to take parts of the 10th chapter of Mark and they go around. This is just a side note. I'm parking on this curve. I'm going to finish the sermon, but this curve was begging for me to park. So I'm just going to park on this curve for a moment. Just consider this if you're writing your notes, Pastor Brown's self-defense class. Because there's some jacklegs out there who will try to beat you up with erroneous scriptures, so I'm going to give you something to defend yourself. Many people will cherry pick parts of the 10th chapter of Mark's gospel. and create some erroneous understanding of marriage and divorce. But we must understand what the Bible says, both in the Old and New Testament.
Yes.
The one divorce that we know the most about in Scripture is God's divorce. In the 3rd chapter of Jeremiah, specifically in the 8th verse, God divorces Israel. That is the word that God uses. God divorces Israel for her unfaithfulness. That is what the Bible says. Deuteronomy chapter 24, verses 1 through 5, give conditions and allowance for divorce. Jesus himself in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 19, verses 3 through 8, gives conditions by which divorce is allowable. Paul gives his opinion on the matter. Let us not confuse Paul's opinion on the matter with the fact that Paul understood what Jesus said on the matter. So what I'm saying this morning is, don't you let people make you feel ashamed because you did something that the Bible allows you to do. God wants you to live in peace, and even Paul says it is the peace that we are called. If you want to put that on social media, hashtag God is a divorcee. Don't be ashamed. Meanwhile, back in Genesis chapter 7. What God does here is God chooses to put out of his divine memory all of the transgressions that had occurred between chapter 1 and chapter 6. What God does here is he undoes all of the evil that Satan had brought upon the earth. It is God's way of saying to Satan, congratulations, Satan, you played yourself. Satan thought that he had taken over the world and that he had won, and all God simply did was to say, I'm just going to start over. I'm going to leave all of that where it is, and I'm going to start over anew. But then verse 1 of chapter 8 tells us, but God remembered Noah. You see, evidence of what the word blot means, that the word blot means to erase from memory, is confirmed by verse 1 of chapter 8, which begins with saying, but God remembered. It would seem like a very random and out-of-place verse to begin with, but God remembered, unless we understand that in verse 23 of chapter 7, that God chose to remove from his memory all of the transgressions that had occurred before. But God remembered Noah and all the wild animals and all the domestic animals that were with him in the ark. And the Bible says, and God made a wind blow over the earth, and the waters subsided. The fountains of the deep, the windows of the heavens were closed. The rains from the heavens were restrained. The waters gradually receded from the earth. And in the 7th month, on the 17th day of the month, the ark came to rest on Mount Ararat, which is in Turkey. The real question about this is, if you're asking, Pastor, did the flood happen? The answer is yes. Did it happen as described? Yes, in that these are ancient people describing a natural phenomenon that was brought about by supernatural means. We must understand this, 71% of the world is already covered in water, which means we're always flooded all the time anyway. I did not coordinate with the Lord to bring flooding into this area in the days leading up to this message. But it does help in order to understand that it does not take much for an area to flood. If it were to rain all over the entire earth for a month, much less for months, it would not take long for all of the earth to flood. So I'm going to break down something scientific here, as it is very relevant. I'll use a couple of big words. I apologize about them, at the outset. But when I think about that, should I have to apologize for intelligence? The word Bible comes from the Greek word biblio, which means the book. That's what Bible means. I know Jizza of Wu-Tang Clan said it means basic instructions before leaving Earth. No disrespect to the Jizza, but he didn't write any part of the Bible. The book. And there was a researcher by the name of Dr. Lawrence Collins who said, if a 3-meter thick layer of flood deposits in southeastern Mesopotamia represents a huge flood of ancient times as described in the Bible and in other Babylonian evidence, and if the remnants of this flood, as described in the Bible, were to leave on natural levels deposits of soil near the Euphrates and Tigris rivers, then the floodwaters that covered the village then would be adjacent to floodplains that are 160 kilometers or 99 miles to 198 miles from the nearest area of land, so that no land could be seen by anyone living in Mesopotamia. What this means is for anyone living there, if it were to rain for as many days as described in Scripture, for anyone who would have heard of the story, because they would have only heard of the story from the 8 survivors of the story, from what they understood, all of the world was flooded. That's an important note, because as we defend our faith, some people try to castigate and just write off things in the Bible and just saying it's just a story. No, the Bible is telling the truth. That what God did was God decided that he had to remove from the world all of its evil, and did that by washing it away. And when that's done, then Noah, in thanks to God for having survived this flood, the Bible says he built an altar to the Lord and took of every clean animal and of every clean bird and offered burnt offerings. And when the Lord smelled the pleasing odor, the Bible says, the Lord said in his heart, I will never again curse the ground with humankind, for the inclination of the human heart is evil. Nor will I ever again destroy every living creature as I have done. He makes a promise that he will never flood the earth like this again. He says, I've removed this evil in this way this time, but I will never do this to you again. Yes. Noah was thankful, not for only being spared, but he was thankful for no longer living in a world that was filled with evil. When thanking God for what we have, let us never forget to thank God for what we no longer have. When we praise God, let's praise him for peace, but peace is the absence of strife. When we praise God, let's praise him for giving us hope, for hope means the absence of hopelessness. When we praise God for a job is the absence of unemployment. When we praise God for friends means the absence of enemies. When we praise God for a smile is the absence of frowning. Let us always thank him for removing our fear, for removing our pain, for removing the pressure, for removing doubts, for removing our worries. Let us also thank him for what we don't have. And God makes a promise to us that he will never again flood this earth in the way that he does here. You know, water is good for getting things out. But as Dr. Mark King Carter said, Dr. Matt King Carter, the late, great M.K. Carter, he said, you can't wash off sin with water, you need blood. And so, since the Lord made a promise here that he would not flood the earth with water anymore, that does not mean that we are still not in need of something that can wash out sin. In other words, what God said is, because I gave you an old covenant, and because the old covenant was broken, I'm going to give you a new covenant. And God said, because I washed up and cleaned everything with water the first time, now I'm going to give you something that can get out any stain. He says, I'm going to give you a different way to get rid of your stains. And God makes a promise to Noah that he will never again flood the earth. But at the same time, when God making this promise to Noah, he's making a covenant with us that there will be blood poured out for the forgiveness of sin. You know, Amazon Prime has to be one of my favorite websites. I like the fact that whenever you order something, you don't have to pay for shipping. All you have to do is order it, and then it shows up. All right. And many times when I'm trying to help someone to understand the Christian faith, and many times when I'm trying to help somebody understand who Jesus is, I can understand why it can be confusing for one who has not given their life to Christ as of yet. Because it seems so easy. It seems so easy that all you have to do is walk down the aisle. It seems so easy that all you have to do is confess with your mouth. It seems so easy. And this got me to thinking about Amazon Prime. I was wondering, that Jeff Bezos is a genius. How has he figured out that we don't have to pay shipping whenever we get something? As it turns out, what the merchant does is the merchant includes into the price of what you're getting the shipping. In other words, somebody else, somewhere else, already paid the price for it, when the doors of the church are open and the invitation to Christian discipleship is extended, how can it be so easy that all you have to do is confess with your mouth? How can it be that easy that all you have to do is walk down the aisle? Oh, it seems easy, but it wasn't easy. What it is that somebody else, somewhere else paid the price. And all you have to do is receive the benefit. It is not that salvation was cheap. Salvation was not cheap. It is not that grace was inexpensive. Grace was not inexpensive. It's not that mercy was meaningless. No, mercy is meaningful. It's that he went out and paid what we couldn't pay. He went out and paid for us. How much are we worth to him? That he was willing to be tortured all night in Christ's judgment. How much are we worth to him? That he was willing to wear a crown of thorns for us. How much are we worth to him? That he was willing to take a nail in his left hand and right hand and nail in his feet for us. How much are we worth to him? That he was willing to have a Roman soldier pierce his side for us. We don't have to do it because he already did it. All we have to do is receive the salvation that he already paid for. Oh, he paid it. He wouldn't pay it. In the old church, we used to ask the question, didn't he do it? Did he do it? Oh, I know I'm catching only what he did. He done it for somebody else to do. He paid it. He wouldn't pay it so we could wake up in our right mind. He's the one who wouldn't pay it all so that we can go through hell on earth without having to go to hell when we leave. He's the one who gives us a fresh start. He's the one who gave us a do-over. He went and paid it so that we could be redeemed. He paid it all so we could be renewed. He paid it all so we could be healthy, holy, and in our right mind. He went and paid it all so we could be forgiven, faithful, and filled with the Spirit. He paid it all. He wouldn't pay it. He paid it this morning. He paid it for you all week. He already paid stuff that you don't know how it's going to get paid off. He's already got it paid off. He paid with his blood. He paid up in the upper room. There is a fountain filled with blood. Drawn from Emmanuel's veins. Sinners can plunge deep beneath that fountain. Lose all their guilt and stain. Thank God for the flood. Thank God for the do-over. Thank God for the mother. Thank God for the second servant. Thank God for a second chance. Thank God for another blessing. Thank God for another day. Thank God for another day. Another one. Another one. Another one. Another one. We extend the invitation to Christian discipleship this morning. We open the doors of this church